just want to first thank you for sitting down with us, Ms. Guzman. I appreciate your time.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. First question is, obviously, you chose Philadelphia to visit for a reason, and I want to ask, why did you choose Philadelphia, and what does it kind of exemplify what you want to do in terms of supporting specifically Black and brown businesses as SBA Administrator?
Well, I remember Philly well as I went to Penn, and so in some respects it's my first home away from home in California, so my second home. I think that Philadelphia really represents America in so many ways. It's just so diverse, vibrant, and really allows us to really focus on the small businesses who were so highly impacted during COVID, especially those women and people of color who maybe didn't access relief at the same rates and who had high impact from the pandemic specifically. So the SBA is really committed to trying to help those businesses and find new ways to make sure that we're meeting their needs and meeting them where they are today.
Great. And I know you still have some things to do on your itinerary today, but of what you've heard from whether it be on the walk that you took this morning or the roundtable you did, what would you say is the most important thing so far that you've heard from them about what they need from you?
Well, small businesses want to do what they do best, which is, build those revenues, create those jobs, and oftentimes they need capital to support that, or just, relief to recover from where they've been the past 15 months. And so what I'm hearing is that they're hopeful for the future, there's optimism, but that they still need assistance as the economy still rebuilds. They recognize we've made huge strides, and thanks to the American Rescue Plan and shots in arms, people are getting out and getting back together, and that drives so many of our main streets. But they want to make sure that there's flexible, efficient, and swift relief and opportunities, along the path in the future.
Mm-hmm. And I know also today you were joined by Rep. Chrissy Houlihan and Rep. Dwight Evans. From your perspective, what have the conversations been like with people that rep this area or people that rep areas across the United States? In terms of working with them and also working with like state and local governments to sort of get the aid out, get the word out. What has that process been like for you?
Well, before serving in the Biden-Harris administration, I was in the state of California leading on small businesses and innovative startups. And I know how critical local and regional and state governments are to really supporting our small businesses. And, Congressman Evans and Congresswoman Houlihan both have strong experience being small business advocates. Congressman Evans is currently on the Small Business Committee and Houlihan was previously. So they know firsthand what small businesses are going through. And I think what they represent and what I've heard too across my meetings with small businesses is that being connected to local resources or to resources broadly is what's the most important thing about surviving and being resilient in business. And so with the American Rescue Plan, the Community Navigator pilot program is going to be launched that actually funds a network of trusted local organizations so that we can better connect our small businesses to the resources they need.
Mm-hmm. And going off of that kind of idea of connection, you're the Small Business Administrator, so what is the importance of you coming out and being connected with the people who are on the ground level today? So what does that mean for you, and what do you hope it means for them?
I serve as the voice of the 30 million small businesses and innovative startups, but hearing directly their stories really fuels my work. It inspires the changes and the improvements that we aim to make sure that this economy is inclusive and that our ecosystems for small businesses are inclusive. So all of those stories really matter for our programs and policies and what we do at the federal level.
Mm-hmm. And then kind of going off of that, specifically Black and brown business, but specifically for us, because we're Aldea News, is there any specific thing that, you would say you've tried to push for Latinx-owned businesses or, things to help them improve or recover or in any of your interactions that you've heard?
I think that making sure that our diverse businesses, people of color, and Black and brown businesses in particular, that we've seen disparate impacts on is both personal and an economic imperative. I grew up in a small business family. My dad's a veterinarian, had a chain of veterinary hospitals. So, from 1 year old on, I just sort of grew up in the environment of helping his clients and helping him with his business. Just like all other business, Latinx businesses need those access to opportunities, and they've been historically unable to access those opportunities at the same rates or capital, for that matter, to support that pursuit. And so we just need to make sure that our programs are open for everybody and that they serve businesses meeting their needs. And so whether that's like the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, where we had it in 2 languages, Spanish and English, on the platform, our outreach and our partnerships have to reflect that commitment to making sure businesses can access our programs. And in the design itself, we need to make sure we're meeting their needs and how their businesses are structured and their models that they create. So, it's an economic imperative, just because when all of our businesses succeed, our economy can thrive. They are the job creators. They're creating the economic output, and we need to make sure that they have the capital they need, the technical assistance they need to really thrive and grow our economy.
And again, going off of Black and brown businesses, a lot of those, and a growing number of those, and maybe potentially a majority of them now are, the majority of them are entrepreneurs as well. So as you said, the job creators. For the black and brown entrepreneur that wants to start a business, what is your message to them, and how can you help in your position?
I think it's really important, and we learned this especially during COVID, is that building a team around you, a network of people who can assist you and direct you and advise you, is really critical. And the SBA has resources on the ground. We have district field offices and resource partners like small business development centers and women's business centers and veterans business opportunity centers and SCORE partners who can provide that direct assistance. But the SBA, we want to build that trusted relationship with all our communities, especially, as you mentioned, the changing face of entrepreneurship reflects that women and people of color are starting businesses at the highest rates, and we want to build bridges to make sure that those businesses can access the resources we have, because we have capital, lending, investments, grants, as well as opportunities to connect you to contracts and do business with the federal government, the largest buyer. So regardless of what your business is or whatever stage, we have programs that can assist you in that process.
I think this is my last question, but speaking of, we've talked a lot about today, and I'm sure you talked about a lot today about, a lot of the good and everything that came out of the work that the SBA did throughout the pandemic and continues to do this day to support small businesses. But, as we know, there were a lot of businesses that did have to close down, and they did have to shut down. So again, kind of going off my last question, what is your message to people who unfortunately had to close down their businesses, and what kind of supports are there from you or there to provide, to maybe get them back on their feet or potentially reopen if possible?
Yeah, well, we know that that entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well, and especially within the Latino community. And we want to encourage entrepreneurship. Our economy depends on it. We need to maintain our global competitiveness, and that comes through the small businesses that innovate, or make sure that our main streets are enlivened and supportive of the products and services that we need. So with small business owners that have had struggles during this pandemic, we've tried to offer relief to help them either stay open or reopen. So there's still great programs that are available, including COVID EIDL, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. It's a great recovery program that can offer low cost, long-term, and deferred payments so that businesses can reestablish or seek opportunities to grow. So I would encourage all businesses, whether they're startups or trying to potentially reopen if they had impact from COVID, to seek out those opportunities and continue with their American dream.
Well, I think that's all my questions. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.